HighCast. HighCast is recorded in the studios of Highland FM. Go to highlandfm.org.au. Volunteer. It is cool. It's just cool. Do it. Bright Spenders. Bright Spenders is my optimization tool of choice. I've been using Bright Spenders now for over 2 months. My wife describes it as a spring clean. She uses the metaphor of a wardrobe. She's looked in her wardrobe. She's identified some things that don't fit anymore. Some expenses that aren't quite appropriate, and she's cleaning them out. Her other benefit that she's found is all of our expenses, all that crap that you have in your head that you pay on a monthly or a weekly basis, that is now all recorded for us. We know where our money is going. We are much better organized to do the things that we want to do with our money. Brightspenders.com. You can find out more at highcast.com.au. HighCast is now a social enterprise set up to support and reward volunteers in the Highlands. Go to highcast.com.au if you are interested in supporting it. Our guests today are Jade plus Craig Whatman. Jade and Craig, here we get this right. Jade and Craig are let's do this the other way around, are fifth and fourth generational dairy farmers, and they're here to talk about Mayberry Farm. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
That's okay. Thanks very much for coming on. Just before we start, I need to do a little disclaimer. I'm an employee of New South Wales Government. I happen to work in the field of primary production, declaring a conflict of interest, I guess, just to get that on the table. No money was exchanged in organising this podcast. So welcome, guys. Tell me about Mayberry Farm.
Yeah, well, we're a dairy farm in Burrowang. Mum and Dad bought Burrowang Mayberry Farm 12 years ago, and we built the dairy there. So, yeah, it's been running for 12 years, and before that, Dad worked on his parents' farm in Glenquarry.
So Glenquarry and Burrowang, so it's just a stone's throw away, really?
Yeah, yep.
So what was the move from Glenquarry to Mayberry Farm? What's that all about?
Well, my grandparents were looking at selling, and Mum and Dad wanted to continue milking and dairying. So then, they thought, we've got to do something. And then that's when they bought Burrowang.
Okay, so Mayberry Farm, you've been there for 12 years. Craig, a fourth generation dairy farmer. Yourself, Jade, a fifth generation dairy farmer. That's a lot of history.
Yeah, it is. And we love what we do.
Craig's not sure if he wants to participate in the conversation here. Tell us. So you're a fourth generation farmer. Tell us about your history in dairy farming.
Yeah, well, fourth generation dairy farmer. My father, grandfather, great-grandfather all dairied in the Southern Highlands, mainly in Kangaloo. So they've been in the district all their lives. So great-grandfather started dairying in about 1839, and just progressed down from there.
Hang on. So yesterday I had a gentleman, a paleontologist on, and he's talking in back 25 million years ago, right? But 1839... For us mortals, is a significant piece of history. So for your family to have established roots in this area, what's that, 150? How many years is that?
100 close to 170, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a significant period of time to have been in the Highlands.
Yeah, no, it is. It's certainly a long time, and I guess it's in the blood, and we just love doing it, and getting up early and working all day, and just something we love doing, and just want to keep doing it, keep going.
Sure. So your great grandfather, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Great grandfather.
Yeah.
And then his children. So what's that? Your grandfather.
Yeah.
Then to your father, then to yourself.
Yeah.
Kangaloo to Glenquarry, then to Burrowang. Is that the?
Yeah. Yep, that's how it's gone. Yeah. Well, my father, when he first started dairying, he started in Kangaloo. Then he bought a property at Glenquarry and moved down there, where he was there for 36 odd years. And then then my wife and I, Tammy and I, moved to Burrowang, and started dairying there.
And your family has a significant history in the Highlands. Can you tell me about dairy in the Highlands as well? I assume that's got a significant history as well. They're checking notes. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most prepared guests I've had so far.
Yes, I like to be organised. There used to be 263 dairies in the Highlands, and now we're down to 8.
Hang on, really?
Yeah.
Because although I'm not a traitor, but I'm a recent arrival to the Highlands. I've been in the Highlands for 3 years now. But I've been travelling through the Highlands on my way down to Kangaroo Valley for the past 30 years. I have family in Kangaroo Valley. And you go through, you go Kangaloon Road down to Nowra Road, turn left, and you think, okay, this is dairies everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Obviously not the case.
No, not compared to what it used to be, yeah.
So, and has that change been very recent, or has it been over the past 50 years that it's...
I think it has been over the past 50 years, but lately, I think since sort of 2000, when deregulation came in to the dairy industry for the milk price, it has dropped, and I think there will be more farmers getting out if... well,
there's 8. There's not many left to get out,
yeah,
right?
well, that's it. It's a bit scary and sad. So,
I guess, and that's probably here. My wife was like, "Be very careful about the questions that you ask." So, but it's part of the discussion, right? If it's got, what did you say, 269?
63.
263 properties that engaged in dairy farming, and it has gone down to 8. There's obviously a reason for that decline, and you've mentioned deregulation. I assume I've had John Major on this podcast before. He talked about how farm sizes have got a lot smaller, so you've got people who've taken the opportunity to sell off parts of their land. Changing climates, I would imagine would be part of it as well. So it's an ongoing phenomenon that we have to deal with. Craig wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think it's a big problem with it is the sustainability of agriculture now. In dairy farming, the price of milk we're getting for the price of milk is at the moment just not sustainable for farmers to stay in it. And I think since deregulation's been a big game changer.
So tell us about
industry.
Deregulation. What for a person like myself who doesn't understand, what is deregulation?
Before the year 2000, when the industry was regulated, there's a government governing body for each state in Australia, and they sort of virtually bought the milk off the farmers, and they sort of sold it onto the processors.
Okay. So now you go directly to Parmalat or whoever. There's no middle person.
Yeah. No, there's no middle person there. Where the New South Wales Dairy Authority used to control the price of milk. The farmers had a quota with they're going to produce X amount of milk, and were guaranteed a set price for that, and that was before deregulation. That was at close to 58 cents.
Because I don't understand, and maybe this is my ignorance, I don't understand how I can go to the supermarket and buy 3 litres of milk for less than $3. Like, it seems ridiculous. And I understand commodities of... Well, I don't understand commodities of scale, but someone says commodities of scale, I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, that's how they're doing it. But it seems ridiculous that you would... how many head do you run, actually?
Yeah, we're milking about 170, but we run about 330 altogether.
So, and how many litres would you produce on a day?
A day, the cows are producing at the moment, they're about close to 3,000 litres a day.
And how many cents per litre do you get?
Depends on our components of the milk, which is the butter, fat and protein percent, but we're averaging probably close to about 48 cents a litre at the moment.
So 48 cents a litre times 3,000. I'm not very good at maths, but I imagine that's not much per day that you're bringing in that has to pay for everything associated with the property. Yeah. And then I go buy 3 litres of milk for $1.50 or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't translate. No,
it certainly doesn't, and that's the problem with the industry at the moment. Just all dairy farmers, wherever you are, they're struggling.
And if all dairy farmers are struggling, and I don't expect you to be answer on behalf of all dairy farmers, but how is there still a supply of milk if it's gone from 263 farms in the Highlands to 8? how is the price of milk continues to go down? Like, where's all this milk coming from? Like magical cows in the sky? Or like, it doesn't make sense.
No, it's just through the farmers that have stayed have been forced to get bigger, milk more cows, and try and become more efficient.
Yeah.
But there's a time when you can only get to become so efficient, and then it's just you start well, I guess going backwards.
And is it like not every other industry, but a lot of industries where there used to be 20 banks and now there's 4 big banks, and there used to be a range of supermarkets and now there's 2 major supermarkets? It's just the amalgamation of lots of smaller businesses into bigger conglomerates, getting bigger and bigger, driving more efficiency, etc.
Yeah, it is that way too in the dairy industry. But then on the other hand, there has been big corporate dairies that did start up, and even they're selling it. It's not viable, sustainable for them to produce.
So what you're saying? It's not viable and sustainable. What's the unviability? What's making it not viable? Sorry.
Yeah, well, it just comes back to the price we're getting for our milk. That's why it's not viable, just on that. Yeah.
And chuck drought in on the top.
Yeah, well, chuck drought in, and it's really a big whammy for all farmers. Just the cost of grain, hay, everything's just gone through the roof, just doubled in price or more. And but you've got to have it to feed your cows, otherwise, what do you do?
So, because there's a couple of things I want to touch on there. I'll come back to the you're having to feed your cows. So lots of people won't understand that you have to supplement or feed all of your cattle. But tell me about the impact of drought so far on your property.
Yeah, well, it comes back to just no grass, no food in the paddock for the cows without the rain. It takes rain to grow the grass, and if without the rain, you don't get the grass, so the cows got nothing to eat. So you've got to look at buying in fodder to feed the cows and keep them alive and keep them producing. And
what about silage? Have you got a stock of pre-prepared silage to feed, or is it all gone?
No, that's all gone, and it has been over. Well, drought really started probably close to 18 months ago. Started biting here. And
it's funny because not many people would understand or know that 18 months ago is when it really kicked in. There's been the big ramp up in the past month. If you're, I'm a non-Facebook aficionado, but I do dabble in it, and every man and his dog is posting a Save Our Farmers. And over the last month, everyone wants to save the farmers. But you're saying 18 months ago is when it really started to kick in.
Yeah, well, it was about the March, 18 months ago. Had a lot of rain, and then since then we hasn't really had little bits and pieces, but not enough to be sustainable to really promote pasture growth to the extent where it is viable.
And so, do you know what your measurements are over the past 18 months? Like 20 mils, 5 mils?
No, I'd have to. I couldn't tell you for sure, but it'd be probably could be only about a third of what we usually get in this area. Yeah.
And so that then leads into this. What does he call it? The greenfields myth or whatever. You still go through the rolling greenfields of the Highlands, and you can't really tell that it's in drought. But that's not the case.
No. Well, Dad described it as green spray paint on concrete. So I guess everyone it looks lovely and green, but there's nothing there for them to eat. And we had cattle, like we were adjusting a place out at Sutton Forest, but they have no feed there and they're running out of water, so we had to get them off. So now they're all back at our home farm, but
so 300 odd head. How many acres are you running?
170.
So I forget the basic maths. It says how many head you should have to an acre, but it sounds like you're overstocked.
Yeah. Okay. Dad says about a cow to an acre, so definitely overstocked. Yeah. And we have a lot
double overstocked.
Yeah. A lot of younger heifers and cows running around wherever they can at home to try and find feed. But,
So no rain equals no pasture growth, which means that people, for the lay person that's driving past, they're going to see a cow with their head down, they're chewing whatever it is that they can get their teeth around, but there might be zero nutritional value in that pasture. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's right. And we're feeding orange pulp and peel to them at the moment. So it's just, whatever you can find.
So I don't want to be silly about it, but does that make different flavoured milk? Hang on, he's preparing. It's like, yes.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really change the flavour of the milk. Sometimes you might in the milk vat you might get a slight different smell. Like you can smell it just
really
smell sometimes, but it doesn't really taint the taste of the milk. But all the milk sort of stays the flavour of the milk normally. Yeah.
But it's again for people who aren't in dairy production or even in primary production. The idea of giving cows orange peel and orange pulp, like it seems so foreign. Again, you're driving through the highlands, you see the rolling green fields, like, oh yeah, everything's fine. What are you talking about? What droughts? But really, that's not actually the case that we're talking about. We're talking dire circumstances here.
Yeah, so it's the green you see is very deceptive. It's as Jade said, it's like spraying green paint onto concrete. That's virtually what the cows can. Virtually nothing there for the cows to get. You see them wandering around, heads down like they're eating something, but they're getting virtually nothing off the pastures.
And so your family has been in the Highlands for 107 years. Have you seen things like this before?
Not. My father said has seen bad droughts, but this is probably well up there with the worst of them.
So even the millennium drought? So we had a millennium drought. But again, I've been driving through the Highlands for however many years. Like, it's always green, everything's fine. But really, so even the millennium drought, this is bigger and badder and worse. Yeah,
it is. What compounded this one even more is just the availability of fodder. It's just getting so scarce, and if you can find it, and then if you can afford to pay for it. And so,
explain fodder for the layperson. Hay.
Yeah, it's hay, grain, just whatever the cows can eat. Really, just whatever the cows are able to eat. If you can find it, well, it's good. But it's getting very hard to find.
I met a woman the other day that's pioneering maggots as feed. After this, I'll give you her details. So she's pioneering the introduction of maggots and bugs as feed for animals. So it's I was like, exactly. We filmed Craig's face. He was like, yeah, whatever, mate. I've been doing this for ages. But dead set. I'll give you her details because it's a really amazing field. But so you said fodder's difficult to find, but yet Australia is a net exporter of fodder. I think I'm correct.
Yeah, they are. They're a huge exporter of fodder, grain and hay as well. But I think whether the companies that have got these export markets, they probably don't want to release the hay so much to the Australian farmer. Then they want to make sure they've got their export order secured for the future. That's just my opinion, but
well, it's a commercial reality, right? Is that if you're a fodder, if you're in the fodder market, and someone is willing to pay more for fodder than the Australian market, well, where are you going to send your fodder? Yeah. It's pure economics, right?
Yeah. Well, I heard the other day that there was hay was being exported for $270 a tonne. But on the domestic market here now, they could get probably nearly double that.
Wow, it's that bad.
Our last load of hay was $19,129 for one load of hay that should last us a week.
So 19,000. So, and oh god, I wish I was better at maths. So because you're doing 3,000 litres a day at 48 cents. So that's $1,500 a day.
Yeah, approximately.
So $1,500 a day. Times 7, so it's what, 10 grand, give or take. Yeah, your feed is $19,000. So probably that really sets the scene now that we've got through this discussion. We've understood the regulation part, we've understood the drought part, and that has led to a point where yourselves as prime producers, as milk producers, are $9,000 in debt, give or take, thereabouts, a week just to feed your animals. So is that a fair summary of that's how you've got to the predicament that Mayberry Farm is in?
Yeah, no, certainly is. Yeah, it's just your input costs, your hay and your fodder, and all the other inputs just keep going up all the time too. But since deregulation, we haven't really had major increases in our milk price.
And that's really interesting because I've got a mate who's a butcher, and his prices are going up because the cost to produce meat is going up. So then the cost for him as a wholesaler of meat is also going up, whereas milk prices aren't going. So it's not. It's the interest. That's the part of the conundrum, right? Is why are milk prices not going up?
Yeah, well, I think Coles and Woolworths with the $1 a litre milk is the main reason. And we probably need to be getting at least 20 cents more per litre than we are for the milk.
So if you got $1 per litre, so that's $3,000 a day. 3 times 7 is $21,000 a week just in milk. Versus $19,000 for hay, so you're breaking even.
Yeah, you
kind
would.
Of thing.
Yeah, you would roughly there. But looking long term, after the drought, once this drought breaks, we need, even with growing when you've got plenty of rain and plenty of pasture, we still need to be looking at close to that 70 cents a litre for the milk for the farmer to get.
Will the drought break, or is this the forever circumstances now? I had a paleontologist on yesterday, and he's looks in the fossil record and says climates change. They've been changing for millions of years, but what's happening currently is unprecedented change in decades, not millennia. So is the drought going to break? And I don't expect you to have the answer, right? But it's part of the discussion.
Yeah, no, it was going to rain again one day.
Tell somebody the desk that I'm sitting at is not wood, but look, let's pretend it's wood. Touch it.
It's going to rain again one day, but just how much and how long the drought breaks for us, there's always going to be droughts. But that's where, as farmers, all agriculture industries need to be getting a sustainable figure for their product to be able to secure themselves for the future, to be able to put fodder aside or money aside for when another drought does come.
And I suppose that's probably brings us to the next part of the discussion about saving Mayberry Farm. And you mentioned sustainability. Is it just about the price of milk, or is it about diversification, change of practices, a range of other things, as well as an increase in milk price?
Yeah, I guess you've got to look at your changes in practices and becoming more efficient if you can and that sort of thing. But the biggest thing is milk price for us at the moment. That's the biggest issue.
So drought is the exacerbating factor.
It has really exacerbated it, the factor of at the moment with the drought, with the increased price of fodder.
Okay. So what are you doing to save the farm?
Well, I wrote a letter just pretty much explaining
because it's kind of blown up,
situation.
Right?
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than we thought. I guess my auntie and extended family saw how stressed mum and dad were. And then my auntie said, I want to help them and I want to set up a GoFundMe page, and farmers never asked for help. So I said, I don't really know if they'll want to do that. But she said, no, we need to. So she did the GoFundMe page and put the letter on it. It's just huge now. And we're very overwhelmed with all of the support, and thankful for all of the donations we've had.
Because it's really, I think this is part of the broader discussion, is the response that you've got. What do you think is behind the response that you've received?
I guess raising awareness, and no one sort of realises how bad the situation is because no one has spoken up about it. But now, I guess in the last month, it's really, been put out there. The drought's really affecting all farmers.
And so, I don't know, Jade and Craig, can you comment on your farming colleagues around the Highlands? Are they in the same predicament as you?
Well, I guess you can't say for sure, but you're just assuming that all the farmers in this area are in the same predicament. They've yes, as you said before, you drive through the highlands and it's green, and you think, oh, there's no drought here, but yeah, it's just very deceptive.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure all dairy farmers in this highlands area are struggling as well as right across the state.
And so you've got a GoFundMe that's up and running, but it's not just GoFundMe. You're doing other things. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're actually at the barrel markets today. Just have a little stall there to, I guess, get the message out there. And then next Saturday we're having an open farm day, so everyone can come and have a look, so watch the cows being milked, and we'll have a few activities. And then we also run dairy tours for groups and schools to come through to help educate everyone.
And I wonder whether that's the future of primary production. Whether you're going to, and I'll be honest, I don't know if the price of milk's going to change. Just from a couple of folks.
Yeah, I don't think they're in any hurry to change it. But I mean, they brought deregulation in. The $1 a litre milk prices in overnight, so I'm sure they could easily change that overnight.
Is it Woolworths is going to donate money to farmers? Yeah, thanks for ruining everything and then pretending to care.
Yes.
the irony of the situation. But I guess then the question is, GoFundMes can't last forever, right? And I asked the question of whether the drought's going to break. So what's your vision for the future? You're going to raise enough money to get through a short period of time, and then what?
Yeah, well, I guess at this stage it's kind of just trying to get enough feed to keep our cows going for the moment, and hoping that the drought breaks and the message gets out there about the milk price. And yeah, fingers crossed that something will happen. But yeah, we would love to, stay in the industry.
Craig, how are you feeling now? And if you don't want to talk about it, it's cool. But how are you feeling right at the moment?
Yeah, it's just been very overwhelming, just with all the donations and support we've had. It's just blowing me away. I think you're on the farm, no one else really would care what you're doing, sort of thing. But it's really blown me away. Just the whole district, not only district, Australia, internationally. Really, we've had donations from Canada, France.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just totally blown me away. Just the support that's out there, and I guess it's just making people aware of what the situation is, and just hopefully get through this period of drought and that sort of thing at the moment, and then hopefully in the future we can start getting a little bit better price for our milk. Otherwise, I don't know where you're going to be drinking long life milk from China or somewhere if it doesn't change.
Yeah, it's a really interesting discussion. I want to pick up on that in a bit. But you mentioned that farmers are a stoic bunch. They don't ask for help. Was it hard to ask for help? Or did people ask for help on your behalf?
Yeah, people asked for help on my behalf. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Dad didn't really have a choice. So everyone, I guess, we're a really close family, and we're lucky to have all of our extended family wanting to help, and they're putting in a lot of time to run events and everything. But everyone cares about Dad and just wants to
This isn't really about. I didn't bring you on, Craig, to tell us about your feelings. And, but I think it's the thing for me is behind the story of drought is actually a human story, and it's one of humility. It's one, hopefully, of triumph over adversity, and that's why I'm asking the questions. Where do you see yourself in the future? Because without telling the story and without growing our understanding of how we, as the Highlands, adapt to change, then you could be back here in 5 years' time. It's like, it's another drought again. And I don't want to be rude about it, but are people going to go fund you again? Or do we have to evolve and adapt and change? And it's the human element that's the important part.
Yeah, I think, personally myself, I don't want to be in this position again. I don't like asking people for help to help you but it's going to come back to supermarkets or government just to get a better price for all agricultural industries really from to survive, because the country's ridden on the agricultural industry's back for a long time, and it'll be sad to see if that changes, and that's not the case.
So that's a really interesting point. I said we'll bring it up. So it feels like it's not just drought. It feels like it's a time for change in agriculture. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think so. It's got to be, agriculture industry's got to be sustainable. Farmers can't just keep going on struggling and only just making ends meet at the end of the day and not being able to, get prepared for droughts.
And so then the question is, is farming in the Highlands sustainable? Is it a realistic future for us? And I know it's not what you came on to talk about, but it's got to be part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it certainly is sustainable in the Highlands. It's probably, as far as dairying goes, as I've always thought.
I would have thought it's the perfect part of the world to do dairy, right?
It is with the rainfall. Oh. The rainfall you have generally, it's the perfect area. It's you always got usually have plenty of pasture, and it's easy, cheaper to produce milk. But but then in them good times, there's still not a big enough profit margin for farmers to prepare themselves for drought.
So in your mission to save Mayberry Farm, do you have not a backup plan, but a sub plan that is about the future? So immediately you've got to fulfill a deficit that's going to feeding the animals. Is there a piece of the pie that's going off to the future of Mayberry Farm as well?
There is. There's behind the scenes we've got a really good support team behind us, and we've got a couple of things in the pipeline.
Acting all coy about it. What is it? Yeah. Can you give us some hints about what kind of things you're learning and how you're trying to adapt and evolve?
Yeah, well, we're looking at starting a change org thing to start to get together to get enough. If we can get enough signatures on that to start lobbying government and different departments that.
I'll put my disclaimer again, but I think that's an important that I would support things like that, because I think, again, to bring it back to that human element about what are we doing to change and adapt and evolve. Well, that's if you guys from this go, change is necessary. What are we going to do about it? That's. See, I didn't expect this to come out of it. Yeah. I'm really pleased.
No, well, it was at the start when they threw this on me about this GoFundMe page. I said we can do it, but we've got to have another plan to look for the future for farmers to be more sustainable in the future. And got a really good IT man behind the scenes working with us.
Acting all coy again.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah, okay. So a change.org. Anything else?
I guess we'll continue running dairy tours, so people from the city or wherever can come.
I feel like there's a huge market for that. People and while there's change going on and people don't paying $1 a litre for milk, that is actually making the desire to understand the milk process or the milking process higher, because how can I pay $1 for milk, and where does it come from? Yeah,
well, that's it. I guess people, when they come to the farm, they get to see the cows being milked, feed the little calves, then it really opens them up. And
smell what a dairy smells like.
Yeah, so I guess
it's not all like green pastures and clovers, is it?
Yeah, I guess just getting people in so they can see where their milk comes from is really important.
Because I think that's it's not the counter argument, but it's part of the counter discussion. Is why should I give you money? No, because there's no backup for me, right? If I don't plan and I don't think about, well, where's my career going to be in 5 years? Where's my government support? Where's my GoFundMe? So the conversation, people are willing to support farmers. Primary production, we eat. Without primary production, we don't eat. Without water, we die. So it's a part of the economy that's siloed to a certain degree because of the importance of it. But I think part of the discussion is, well, sure, we'll support, but how are you adapting and evolving and transforming your practices so that GoFundMe's don't have to go on forever.
Yeah, I guess it's just you got
Jade's passed that one off.
Yeah, you got to look to the future and just all businesses want to be sustainable in their own right, and it's I guess you got to look to that and look for other options to
So what are your
have
other
other
options?
income.
What, like you've got people coming to smell the roses or whatever you want to call them. You've pat the cows. What else is gonna?
Yeah, well, I guess that's.
Jade's going to become a specialty cheese maker.
Well, yeah, that would be another option.
Yeah, we actually have a lady who is going to run a cheese making course one day on the farm because that's something Mum has always wanted to do.
And isn't it? Sorry to interrupt. Isn't it funny that practices from 150 years ago have disappeared because we wanted to do bulk production and you wanted your $1 a litre milk, but now people are like, hey, I want to go to a farm and smell shit.
Yeah,
and,
or I want the real milk with cream on top.
And I want a cheese that's made, I can see that it came from that cow and it's stored in that cooling shed, and then I buy it here. And I'm willing to pay a little bit more for that cheese, but not for the bloody milk.
Yeah.
How silly is it?
It is.
But I think that's how, and without talking too much about John Major, I think he saw that happening. He saw, butchery and production and went, hang on, there's got to be some other way to make money here. And I kind of feel that that's, whilst not farm tours everywhere, but the future of primary production is diversifying your business and doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah, and you have to think outside the square as well, I guess, and that's what we're trying to do with the dairy tours, and hopefully, we would love to get the cheese making going and stuff like that, but yeah.
So you personally, Jade, are you out there milking cows every day, or what's you're the fifth generation here? What's going on with you?
Yeah, well, I also do disability and mental health support work, so I do that sort of in the afternoons or nights, just a few shifts a week, because I guess, Mum and Dad can't really afford to have us work on the farm full time. We would love to, but they want us to go and, we need to save for our future. But I'm on the farm before I go to work, and then if I get home, then I'll go and help on the farm as well.
And is that the future of production as well? It's people who are essentially running mixed businesses. A little you go out and milk in the morning, you're at a desk in the afternoon kind of thing. Yeah,
there are some farmers who are doing that. I think it's hard with a dairy farm as well because you've got
twice a day?
4:30 in the morning and then about 3 in the afternoon.
You're just selling dairy farming. It's a smelly, dirty environment. You're up at 3 o'clock to do a 4:30 milking. Yeah,
no, usually about 10 to 4 o'clock alarm goes off and out straight out of bed and out the door.
20 to 11 now. You must be ready for bed.
Oh yeah, your body. It's amazing how your body does adjust to it a bit, but you certainly do get weary. You'll come in and might sit down and have lunch and sit on the lounge chair. Next you'll might have not off for 10 minutes and up and away you go again.
And I was thinking this morning, back in the 80s, no one would have, unless you're a part of the science community, no one would have ever seen climate change coming and the debate around climate change coming. Would you have thought that your children would be part dairy farmers, part disability workers? Did you foresee that future? Did it cross your mind?
No, it didn't cross my mind at all. I guess I had in mind that if the kids wanted to be in the dairy industry, and I was hoping the industry was strong enough to have them in the industry full time, working on the farm full time, and not have to run off and do those other jobs.
And that's part that we haven't talked about yet. It's the history and the culture that's associated with this. You've got the deregulation and the reduction in cost of a commodity, and so people like me who go to Coles and Woolworths who buy milk, they just see, my life's getting easier because milk's cheaper, but we don't see that broader impact to our country and to our culture that's diminishing by the day.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If something doesn't change soon as far as sustainability for the farmers, that $1 a litre milk, it might be $10 a litre in the future. There's no guessing where it could go. If shortage of milk, they start bringing milk in from China or France or wherever. There's,
New Zealand,
who knows,
they're
New
killing
Zealand, who knows what you'll have to pay for it. Like it could go to $10 a litre.
And without, you were a bit coy about the change.org stuff before. What's your angle? Is it incorporating culture? Is it just about price? What's the angle?
It's still in the early stages yet. We're still sort of working all that out, just which is a right angle to go. It's we've still got to still talking on that just to get the right angle.
Yeah,
which way to attack it.
I like, for me personally, I really like the cultural piece. I think, Craig, you refer that Australia has been built on agriculture. What is it? The lucky country that was built on the sheep's back. There is a significant piece around culture that can be done. It might be a supporting piece. Price is probably the main one. But I think that element, and bring it back to that human element, has been lost. There's people like yourself who've been in this game for 170 years. And just because I want my Weet-Bix covered in some white stuff that's cheaper, people are suffering, and I don't know. You can't get in the way of economies and progress, or can you? Well, I don't know. How do we find that?
Yeah.
Where's the discussion around
I think
that?
something's got to happen, and for the agriculture industries to get them a better sustainable price, because there's not only like your dairy farmers here or in New South Wales, it's your cropping farms.
Yeah, that was my next question.
All that as well. They're all struggling, and like cropping farmers got 5,000-10,000 acres, and you can see on the media these days, like their sheep and cattle are just starving. Like it needs to be a sustainable price for farmers to be able to put something aside for droughts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think sustainability, you probably found your angle there. What is sustainability? What does it mean? Do you think there is the opportunity? So back in the early 2000s, places like Gloria Jeans, etc., came in to try and dominate coffee, whereas Australians have gone, you know what, I prefer my little cafe. Do you reckon there's a future for dairy production around niche, small businesses that do a specialty brand or a particular type of dairy, or is that boat sailed?
A bit of a tricky question, that one. Is
didn't expect that question, did you?
No, there is.
Come in, talk about dairy, everything will be fine.
Yeah, there probably is. There are going to be little pockets of that sort of thing in your niche markets. Yeah, but overall, it's going to. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a combination of both.
Jade, you're going to be in this. No offense to your old man, but you're going to be in this industry for a little bit longer than Craig is. What's your hope for the future?
I guess I hope that things will get better, and
but you can things are going to get better. But what do you actually hope is going to happen? What does better look like?
Well, I want farmers love what they do, and they work 7 days a week. They don't get Christmas Day off.
Isn't it you? We?
Yeah, well, we. Yeah. Yeah, and, we don't get Christmas off. You're up at 4:30 milking Christmas morning and everything, and we love what we do, and we wouldn't change it for a thing. So, yeah, I guess I hope that, we can all continue to supply Australia with, the fresh quality produce that we do.
Do you know what that looks like? Like, is it the same as what your dad's doing now, or is it a completely different practice? What does the future look like?
It is the same, but I guess since my grandparents were milking, even technology in the dairy has changed as well. So I guess it's changing with the times. But the practices on the farm will always be the same.
Yeah, okay. And Craig, what about you? What do you sort of hope for the future?
Just to have a sustainable industry that the next generations, whether it's Jade and whether she has kids and her kids, sort of thing, an industry there for them to get into if they want.
What's that, 6 and 7 generation farmers?
Yeah, if you haven't got family farms, like your big corporate farms aren't going to.
Sorry, you keep going.
Yeah, your big corporate farms aren't going to be have that. What's the word? Yeah. I lost the word. Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
you know, talking about a 6th and a 7th generation is you're saying it's sustainability piece. Like I want my grandchildren and their children to be farming here. And what do you need to do in order to achieve that? That's a pretty big question and a pretty big challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, it all comes back to this, the price you get for your product.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it comes back to, being sustainable. You can move with the improve in technology and designs and everything, the dairies and things like that. You can go ahead with them and change that way. But all it comes down to is getting the right price for your product you produce.
You remember 6 months ago? It's probably 2 years ago now. There was that move to not buy the Coles branded milk. Yeah. What happened to that?
Yeah, all these things sort of have. So all in the media
taken over by plastic bags. Don't buy your plastic bags.
Yeah, like it's all the sort of thing is in the media at the time, and then it sort of runs a course, and farmers are that busy just doing their day-to-day stuff that will have to do, feed cows and milking and all that sort of thing. It's a matter of just sort of faded out of the media and that sort of thing. But with the drought, it's sort of really hit a head again, peak again, and we've got to really, I think, use it. Bad as a drought is, use it to our advantage just to try and to put pressure on governments and supermarkets to get it so we can get a sustainable price in the future. And
that's probably before we start talking specifically about how do you support your GoFundMe. How are there other opportunities for other Highlands farmers to get the support that you're going out and doing it on your own? Is there anything that's any other bigger support networks that are happening for other Highlands farmers?
I know the Barrel Co-op, I think they're running, trying to raise money, and then they'll divide that to the farmers in the Highlands. But we have found we've applied for a few different, bio-bale and stuff, but we're 200th in line. So I think... In
the Highlands or around Australia?
That's around, New South Wales, Queensland.
Because I think, whilst you're getting a voice here and you've got your GoFundMe program, there's probably I don't want to take away from the other Highlands farmers that are suffering. Like, you've got your own initiative that's going on. Yeah. It's important to acknowledge that there's other people around the Highlands that are in the same boat.
Yeah, definitely. And we'd love to be able to raise enough money to help all the other farmers as well. And I think, now we're just...
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Out.
Yeah. Chip in, not just for Mayberry Farm, but for everyone.
Right. Yeah.
So, Craig, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. When this GoFundMe page started for us, that was my aim, just to help ourselves initially, but I wanted to get something going to help other farmers in this district to start with. There's all these other, you've got the Aussie helpers, and there's a big range of organisations raising money and buying fodder for people, but it's just seems to be in this area we're forgotten. It's a lot of that hay and all that sort of seems to be going out to the central west and north Queensland and that sort of thing.
Dry out there. My
so
gosh.
It's dry out there, and we're in a severe drought here as well.
Yeah.
So, but just getting that seems to be the hay. What I've seen, all that hay, and helps sort of thing going further west, in central west, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So if we can raise enough money and be able to help other farmers in this district, we'd certainly love to be able to do it.
Oh, fantastic! So how do we support Mayberry Farm, and how do we support other farmers in the district?
Yeah, well, I guess we're on Facebook with the Save Mayberry Farm.
Yeah, okay, just Facebook.
GoFundMe page. No, we actually have a website.
Go on,
as
tell everybody what it is. Promote.
www.savemayberryfarm.com. And I guess even things like the Barrel Co-op and stuff, they have, you can go in there and donate, and that will go to the local farmers around here.
Fantastic. Head down to, you get Barrel Markets any other markets?
Yeah, till 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll publish this before that, but any other markets in the near future? Can you buy the hats at mayberryfarm.com.au?
Not hopefully, but we haven't got them up yet, but we will have them next weekend at the open day.
Do you think that this might be that point in your life where you've got this website now, and you might become like you might go down the path of selling things, having your own digital platforms. Do you reckon this might be the time you look back and go, hey, my life changed?
Yeah.
And at first it was sad and at first it was bad, but my life changed and then bigger and better and bolder came after that. Do you reckon that this might be the point?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the starting point of, something good and exciting. And I mean, we'd like to thank everyone who has donated. Mimosa donated the hats and everything.
Cool.
So all of that's been donated and the badges. So yeah, we're very thankful.
Well, look, I think that's a really positive note to leave us on.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you both for coming in today. It's been a really interesting but revealing conversation. I expected you to come here and talk about how drought has ruined everything, but really it's a compound or a contributing factor of a range of things. And I hope that your Save Mayberry Farm can not just contribute to yourselves, but to the future of farming in the Highlands. I think it's a really important cultural heritage that we need to maintain. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you.
No problems at all. This has been HighCast with the Whatmans. Go to highcast.com.au to find out more about brightspenders.com. See ya next time.